Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Kaeleigh, and for my first YouTube video I thought what better video to do than a newborn must-have essentials type of video. I have a 3-month-old son named Mason. You can probably hear him, he's just laying on the bed down next to me. So when I was pregnant with him, I binge watched these videos and I found them really helpful, so I hope that you guys find this one helpful. As a first-time mum, I was really overwhelmed with the amount of newborn products there are on the market. You don't really know where to start and what you're going to actually need. So it took me a lot of time to sort of figure out what products I needed and what products made life a little bit easier. So I have some products here that I want to share with you, as I hope they can make your life a little bit easier too. If you want to find out what those products are, just keep on watching. So the first item that I do want to chat with you guys about is probably my most used item. It is definitely on the pricier side and it is an investment. It's a product that my partner and I debated about when I was pregnant, about whether or not we would actually need it and use it. But I'm so happy that we ended up purchasing it because Mason honestly loves it. And that is the 4Mums mamaroo. So instead of your everyday rocker where you do have to sit there and manually rock them, the 4Mums mamaroo is electric. So there's a little tab on the bottom of the rocker that you can select your motion, speed and noises from. It's also controlled by your app on your phone, which is a reason why I really love it. It's because I can be cooking dinner or doing the housework and it's so convenient. I can just pop on the app and change the motion or the speed, and I don't have to walk over there each time. So there's 5 different speeds, there's 5 different motions, and there's 5 different sounds. So the reason why Mason loves it so much is there is a car stimulation motion, and he is such a car baby. Doesn't matter if it's a 5-minute drive or a half-an-hour drive, as soon as he's popped in the car he'll fall asleep instantly. So if he's being a little bit fussy, I'll just pop him in the mamaroo, turn the car setting on, and he's asleep within minutes, and it's so much easier than having to actually get in the car and obviously do blocks. The only, I guess, downside to it is that it does have to be plugged in and it is quite bulky, so you can't move it from room to room. So we are actually looking at getting a less expensive smaller rocker, one that I can take with room to room with me, so if I'm having a shower or getting changed or something like that, we can just pop them in there and it's easy to move. But other than that, I cannot recommend it enough, and it's one of my favorite products by far. The next product that I want to speak about is his bassinet. When I was pregnant, I did so much research on bassinets. I didn't really know what made a good bassinet or a bad bassinet, because there's so many different types of bassinets that you can buy. You've got your wooden ones, your mesh ones, and then you've even got your co-sleeping ones, which are the ones that unzip and attach next to your bed. I really didn't know where to start. And one thing that I didn't know until I was doing my research is that Australia actually doesn't have safety regulations that they have to abide by before they put the bassinet to the market, especially when it comes to SIDS, and it's such a scary issue. I was really shocked and surprised that they didn't have to abide by any rules. So it was sort of difficult for me because I didn't really know which one was the safest option. So after a lot of research, I found out that the boori barley bassinet actually won the safest bassinet award. So that really eased my mind and one of the main reasons that we ended up purchasing that one. I really love it as it has the mesh side, so it is really breathable. One thing that I was super worried about, especially about his age now where he is starting to roll, is that he'd roll and his face would come up against the side of the bassinet, and obviously that is such a high risk factor for SIDS. So even if he does do that, it's completely breathable and mesh, so he'll be able to breathe through. It's nice and sturdy, and it is on wheels too, which is another thing that we were looking at. I found it super helpful, especially when he was freshly a newborn, that I could take the bassinet in room to room with me. So yeah, I highly recommend that one. So the next thing that I want to speak about is his stroller. So the stroller that we have for Mason is the Bugaboo Chameleon 3 Pro in all black. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, the first thing that I was researching is his stroller. I knew that I wanted a really good quality stroller that would last him for a long time and would even last if we ended up having a 2nd or 3rd baby in the future. So after a lot of the research, I found that Bugaboo was one of the most reliable brands out there for strollers. There were so many different types within the Bugaboo as well, so I really didn't know which one we wanted to go with. My partner and I ended up going into Baby Bunting, and we were speaking with the sales rep there, and they ended up showing us the Bugaboo Cameleon 3, which is the one that we ended up purchasing. I love it because it does have a bassinet and a toddler seat that come with it. So Mason's still in the bassinet seat at the moment, but we probably will be upgrading him to the toddler seat in the next couple of weeks because he is being a lot more alert and is wanting to have a look around. He can also hold his neck upright, which is when they recommend to change the bassinet to the toddler seat. So it's really, really great. I've taken this thing everywhere and it's not had a terrain that it can't go over. I've even taken it on the sand and the beach, and it was able to maneuver through there. It is a little bit on the pricier side again, but it's really, really, really good quality. It will stand the test of time, and we can use it for years to come. Another essential for me is his car seat. So the car seat we ended up purchasing was the Britax Safe and Sound. Now I absolutely love this thing. We did debate quite a lot when I was pregnant with whether we wanted a capsule or an actual car seat. After doing some research and speaking to the lovely ladies at Baby Bunting, they did inform us or advise us that newborns aren't meant to stay in the capsules for longer than 30 minutes. So that really did freak me out, and it did sort of defeat the purpose, in my opinion, of being able to transfer them from the car seat into the stroller. And it turned out that Mason was not that fussy when it came to transferring him anyway. So we did end up obviously with the car seat. Britax were awarded one of the safest car seat brands, as they did have this side impact and also the head shoulder impact built into the car seats too. So he sits in a rear facing one until he's about 12 months, and then you just turn it around and you can use that up until he's about 4, I believe. So we will have it for a very long time. Such good quality, and everyone that I've spoken to that does have a Britax, they love it, so I do highly recommend. Another product that I absolutely swear by is a baby monitor. So because Mason is in a bassinet in the bed next to us, I don't tend to get a whole lot of use from it during the night. However, during the day when I'm out doing the housework or cooking lunch or dinner, if he is having a nap, I do like to just pop the baby monitor on. That way I can keep an eye on him at any time that I want to check. One that I do recommend highly is getting a video monitor if you can. They're really great because they come with a little handheld device that you can just take with you wherever you are in the house. It's not Wi-Fi compatible, which is one thing that I was really concerned about. The Wi-Fi was to drop out for whatever reason, that I wouldn't have the link. So the one that we ended up purchasing was the Project Nursery, and I really love it. It does have night mode, and it also has a temperature gauge too, so it will alert you if the room is getting too hot or too cold, so you can adjust what he's wearing or add an extra layer onto him, which I found really helpful. So I highly recommend it. I do tend to check on him quite a lot. I am definitely a stressful mama, so having a video device like this is really great because you can pull it up and check on him however much you like without actually having to disturb him. And this particular one actually has a talk back function, so you can hold down this little button, and if he is being a little bit fussy, I can just talk to him, and as soon as he hears my voice, he does think that I'm in the room there with him. So I highly recommend this one. Another product that I absolutely am obsessed with and Mason uses multiple times a day is his activity mat. So this is something that I do highly recommend pretty early on in their life, as it does enhance their motor skills, and also it's great for them to have the different things for them to look at. So the particular one that I have, which I love, is the Jhett & Co playmat. So I did opt getting the grey and white one, as they can only see grayscale or black and white for the first couple of weeks of their life. So all the toys are grey and white. So it helped him, adjust to things quite easily. You can also take them out and swap them out for the colourful ones, which we'll probably end up doing in the next few weeks. But he absolutely loves it. It does come with a tummy time pillow too, which is really great. So I did search high and low, as I did want to get him a very comfortable one. So I ended up coming across an Instagram boutique called Jhett & Co, and they had the perfect playmat. So I really love it. Again, it is a little bit on the pricier side, but the quality of it is absolutely insane. And you can also take the bars off it, so you can just take the mat around, which we tend to do as well. So I highly recommend it. Another product from Jhett & Co that I love is the travel playmat. So as opposed to the activity mat, which have the toys and everything attached, this is just a travel playmat. So if you're going to the beach or the park and that sort of a thing, you take it with you and pop it down. The one that we ended up getting was the customized one, so it does have his name Mason on it, which I think is super cute. Again, it is double padded, so it is super comfortable, and it's a great size too, so when you go to the park it does fit all of your belongings on it. I have also had a couple of his friends lie on it at the same time as him, so it does fit about 2 to 3 babies on it, which is great. All the other ones that I was looking at were on the smaller side, and I did know that I wanted a little bit of a larger one, and again, obviously because it is customized, I just couldn't pass it up. So something that has seriously helped us sleep so much is the Glow Dreaming Machine. Now this is a white noise machine, which is something that I was highly recommended when I first had Mason. When they're in the womb, apparently this is the noise that they hear, so it does keep them quite comfortable and really settled. So this was definitely a must-have for me. So we play this anytime he's going to sleep, whether it's during the day or during the night, and it makes him tired instantly. I have really noticed the difference if we forget to switch it on. It does also come with light settings as well, so it does have a red light, which is scientifically proven, which is what the astronauts actually use in space to make you sleepy and to give you a better sleep. So there are 3 different dim settings of the red light, and there is also a green light, which again they've scientifically proven actually calms you. So if he is quite fussy during the day or when he's feeding, I'll just pop this on with the green light and I definitely can notice the difference. This is something that we will use pretty much until he's, you know, past the toddler, and I couldn't recommend it enough. So the next product that I want to talk about is sleepers. So the sleepers that I highly recommend are the ones that have the zip. This will make your life so much easier changing them in the middle of the night, especially as a first time mum. And in the first couple of weeks I was really not confident with changing him, and he hated the cold and hated being naked, so I needed something that I was able to maneuver and get him in and out of very quickly. So I very quickly became obsessed with the Bond's wondersuits. These are great because they also have the double zip too, so you can actually zip it from the bottom and from the top. So I ended up just unzipping his legs and popping those out, which ended up keeping him quite calm throughout the change as well. So another reason why I do love them is they do have the built-in mitts, which was a really good thing for me because I was really worried that Mason would throw the mitts off during the night and scratch his face. So highly recommend these. You can pretty much buy them anywhere nowadays, but another brand that I do also really love is the Pure Baby Organic brand. Again, these have the double zip and the built-in mittens, and they're such good quality. Because Mason was a winter baby, all of his zip onesies were very thick or like fluffy in material, so these were great and they kept him really warm during the night. So the next thing I want to talk about is swaddles. So when Mason first got home from the hospital, he loved to be swaddled. Because he was a winter baby, we ended up getting the fleece or flannel swaddles, which I loved. These ones are just from Baby Bunting. It's the 4Baby brand from them. I love them because they're very big in size, so it did make swaddling quite easy. Especially as a first time mum, I really struggled with learning how to swaddle, but I really love this. It kept him so warm, and it's such good material. It's a really nice quality, and obviously the print is super cute too. So for the more hot days, or I guess warmer nights, we did end up purchasing a few muslin wraps as well. So these are the ones that we got. They're from the Sheridan brand. These come in a pack of 2. Pretty much any brand you get will do the job, but I really love these because they're quite breathable and they're not as hot or thick as the flannel ones as well. So we did get quite a lot of use out of those. After a few weeks, Mason decided that he didn't like to have his arms constricted. He did like to sleep with them up. So we did then move over to the Love to Dream swaddles. These are great because they're zipped, so again during the night it's super easy just to pop them in and zip them up. These ones are great too because the baby can have their arms up and not feel as restricted. So Mason loved this for a few weeks. Again, because he was a winter baby, this is a thicker one, but you can purchase the summer ones as well depending on what time of the year your little one is born. But now that he's about 3 months old, he hates having his arms in altogether. He really loves sleeping with them out. So we did have to purchase a sleeping bag. So the one that we ended up purchasing is from Bond, and it is the panda one, which I just thought the pattern was so cute. But it's great because it has little armholes on each side, so he can put his arms out, but it still has the bottom closed in, so it still keeps him really nice and warm. This is the summer sleeping bag, and I find that it still keeps him nice and cozy during the night, but when it comes into winter we'll definitely be purchasing the thicker version of this. But he loves this, and when we go on our morning walks as well, it's super easy because you can just pick him up and put him straight in the pram without having to worry about blankets. So highly recommend these. Another product that has been an absolute lifesaver for us is a nightlight. So when we first had Mason, I was putting the harsh overhead light on in the nursery and he hated it. It used to wake him up every single time, so I found it a lot more difficult to settle him after to get him back to sleep. So we did end up purchasing a nightlight. This one's really great because not only is it super cute, but it is super functional as well. So it does have 3 different light settings: a really bright, sort of mid to bright, and then quite a low setting, which is what we use for during the night. It does also have a setting to come out under the bottom too, so if you find that the top light isn't enough, you do have the option of a second light. It's really cute, and yeah, I couldn't recommend this particular one enough. It does have an animal themed nursery, in case you couldn't tell, so this fits in really well, and it is super practical as well. So the next thing that I do want to talk about is burp cloths. Now Mason has really bad reflux, so he spits up quite a lot when I am feeding him. So burp cloths was something that's definitely a must-have in my opinion. So my favorite brand for the burp cloth is the Aiden and Anais brand. So I've tried so many different brands of burp cloths, and I found these ones have been the most absorbent, and I can use them 3 or 4 times without having to swap them out. And the reason why I love them is they're so versatile. So they do come in a shape like this, so you can pop it over your shoulder if that's the type of burping that you prefer to do with your baby. Otherwise it does have 2 little clips here that you can clip around them, so it becomes like a huge bib, so it catches all the fuller and I guess spit up that they tend to do. They do come in a 2-pack, so it does make them quite inexpensive, but I highly recommend these. I've used this so many times since Mason was born and they're still pretty much intact. So the next product is great if you are on a breastfeeding journey. So Mason and I did struggle a little bit with our breastfeeding journey. I do have a whole post about it on my Instagram, which I'll link below if you are interested. But pretty much for the first couple of weeks of his life, he wasn't breastfeeding properly, so I did have to express and bottle feed him. So I needed a really good pump. Now, when I was in hospital, I used their pump, which was the Medela hospital grade pump, and I absolutely loved it. It was so quick, so easy, and I ended up getting quite a lot each pump that I did. So when I got home from the hospital, I knew that I did want a Medela pump. So I ended up purchasing the single swing pump, and I could not recommend this enough. It's so quick, so easy, and you do have different settings, so you can adjust how fast that you pump or how intensely you pump. And it does come with bottles as well, which I found really great because they do have the newborn teat on them, so you can give them to the baby straight away, whereas now he's on a 3 to 6 month teat, so he can't use those bottles anymore. But when I first got home, I absolutely loved this thing. So the next essential that I want to chat about really helped Mason because he is now a strictly formula fed baby. So the next couple of items that I am going to chat about relates to formula feeding or bottle feeding. So if you are breastfeeding, just feel free to skip past the next couple of items. But the first item that I want to speak about is the Tommy Tippy sterilizer. This thing changed my life. So pretty much what it is, it's a bottle sterilizer. So I'm so worried when it comes to Mason about germs and him getting sick. So sterilizing the bottles was something that I was really anal about. This machine is great because you can fit 6 bottles in there, you pop them in, add some water, and 5 minutes later they're completely sterilized, so you don't have to worry about any germs entering. It saves so much time because you don't have to sit there and cleaning them, and you know that they're getting, I guess, professionally sterilized. The next item is the Tommee Tippee Perfect Prep machine. Now this essentially is just a bottle warmer. So when you are formula feeding, you do have to put the formula in a particular type of temperature water. So it can't be too hot and it can't be too cold, and it does need to be boiled first, that it gets rid of all the bacteria in the water. So before we had this machine, we were just boiling the jug, and then we had to wait a few hours until the water had cooled enough to add the formula. This machine does it all for you. So literally within 2 minutes, the water has been boiled to the perfect temperature, and then it cooled again down to the temperature where you can add the formula. So in the middle of the night, this does absolute wonders. It also means that you can do it individually rather than making up a few and popping them in the fridge, then having to wait to warm them up. Mason is definitely a fussy eater, so when he is hungry, he goes from 0 to 100 very quickly. So this has absolutely changed the game for us. So the formula that we use is the Munchkin grass-fed formula. I did so much research when I was looking at putting Mason on formula, as I know it can be quite upsetting to them. And one thing I was really worried about is him not getting the nutrients and the vitamins and all the nutritional requirements that he did need, and that he does obviously get from the breast milk. So I did a lot of research. This one ended up being very highly reviewed. It was very easy for him to be transferred onto it. He only had a couple of spit ups, and it only took him a few days to get used to it. He absolutely loves this, and as do we, as I know that it is organic, but it does have all of the nutritional requirements that he needs. And it does seem to keep him full for a lot longer as well. So I do highly recommend this. It is really great too, as I was mixed feeding for a little while, and he really couldn't tell the difference between the two, except for obviously the formula is a little bit thicker in consistency, but he didn't have any issues. He transferred and mixed fed really well with this, so I do highly recommend it if it is a product that you are in the market for. So while we're on the topic of formula, the bottles that we use are the Tommee Tippee bottles. This one, it does have water in it, as I am just about to feed him, so I'm going to pop some formula in there. But the Tommee Tippee bottles we absolutely love. Again, the first couple of weeks with Mason, he was express feeding my breast milk, so he has been on bottles pretty much his whole life. We started on the Medela bottles as they have the newborn teats and they just attach to the pump, which was really easy. But now that we are formula feeding, I was in the market for some larger bottles that did have the 3 to 6 month teat on them as well. These ones are really great. They're super cute and they hold a lot of product in there too, which is obviously really great. As he gets older, I can just add more water and more formula, and I don't have to change out bottles for a little while. So highly recommend these. These particular ones do come in a pack of 6, which is really great, and you can buy them pretty much anywhere. So the next thing that I do recommend is some sort of a lounger. So one that is very popular is the Docker-Tot. We did look at purchasing that one, but we ended up going with the Bub Nest lounger. I really love this one because I found that it wasn't as thick as the Docker-Tot, so you can use it for a little bit longer. It's also made out of completely organic materials, so I really loved that as well. We were actually gifted it from one of my close friends who was using it with her baby. It's so convenient because you can put it basically anywhere, so whether it be on the couch or on the floor or outside. We tend to use it a lot when we go into our friends and family's houses. We can just pop him in there and he likes to go to sleep because he's nice and comfortable. I highly do recommend it, and it's a lot easier than when we first had him and we were transporting the bassinet from room to room. You can just pop this down anywhere, pop them in it, and they're so comfortable. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Whether you are pregnant or are already a mum, I really hope that you found some new products that you might be interested in using. Again, they really helped me and they made my life so much easier, so I highly recommend all of them. If you did like today's video, please go ahead and subscribe and like. If you do have some video requests that you'd like to see, please leave them down below or shoot me a DM on Instagram. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!